So in 31 weeks, I'm going to be running the North Downs Way 50 miler. And 31 weeks seems like it's quite a long way away. However, me and my missus are expecting our second child. We're currently 20 weeks into that, and I can't even begin to explain how 20 weeks has just flown by. Before I know it, they're going to be here. And there's a lot of challenges that come with having one child, let alone having two. Can't even begin to compute that. But in today's video, I thought it'd be good for us to talk about how I balance my training, my work, being a dad, being a husband, especially as we start to look forward to our next race, which is that North Downs Way 50 miler. So starting off with Monday. Monday is one of the more relaxed days in the week. It's a day where I get to have my son with me whilst I try and manage work as best as I can. But predominantly, me and my son spend that day together. We have lots of fun. We head to the park, we go and see some ducks, all in between balancing that work.
How many ducks can you see? Can you see 1 duck, 2 duck, 3 ducks?
The only sort of real exercise I get done on a Monday is I go on walks throughout the day with obviously the little one, and then on a Monday evening I play a 6-a-side football, and I tend to get a little 5k running either before or after that. So yeah, that day is very little in terms of exercise. It is just about spending that time with the son and getting the work done. So we're here at Kimber today to get our 6 mile easy run in. Some absolute beautiful trails, a chance for us to get some elevation in as well, which is really, really nice. The reason why we come here is that I have to drop my son off nursery, which isn't too far from here. So it just makes sense for me to be able to go and drop him off, go and get that run in, bang, that's that Tuesday already, you know, done a run. We can go to the gym in the afternoon. We've got some exciting news today as well, actually, because we've got our 20-week scan to go and see the little one. So I'm looking forward to that. But let's go and get this run done, and let's go and see the beautiful Kimber Edge. So one of the beautiful things about running here is you come across these Kimber caves. I just find it super cool to see them, think about all the people that have gone through there, the markings on the wall, which obviously, yeah, probably not what we think from like the movies, but either way, it's still pretty cool. And yeah, I enjoy it a lot. Another reason why I absolutely love coming here in the morning, or even just getting out in the trails a lot more than the road stuff that I've been doing over the last few months, is it's just views like that. Yeah, it's just a great way to start the day. And we've made it to the highest point of Kimber Edge. So you got here Wire Forest, that's where we're doing our half marathon soon, and that's where we do a lot of our park runs. Kidderminster, that's where we live. Malvern Hills, that are over that way, we have been there a couple of times, really, really good to run in. And then you've got Kimber Edge, which is where we are. Clent Hills, which I haven't actually been in a very, very long time. Stourbridge, where I was born and bred, and then Kidderminster, where we live now. We've made it here in just over 3.5 miles. Now it's time to basically kind of loop back round, finish off the run. So run done, literally bang on 6 miles, exactly what we wanted. The thing I'm trying to understand at the minute, and maybe it's a conversation to have with Matt, is like when I get to the hills, obviously I let my heart rate spike up a little bit. I go up them steady, but I don't hike them. I don't
I don't know whether on these like easy ones I should be hiking them or running them. I prefer to run them, gets it done quicker, and they're not massive that my heart rate stays, you know, like 165 and above for long. It kind of peaks up to like 165, 170 and then drops back down. So yeah, that's a conversation to have. So the day starts nice and early with driving the missus to work and then the little man to nursery and then getting myself into the gym. The gym consisted of core work and Achilles and calves mainly. Before starting work, I headed to pick up our weekly shop. Then it was sit down and get work done. Wednesdays have been a staple workout day for me. So we're just finishing up our 1 mile warm up and then we're into tempo. 6:15 is the aim. See if we've got that in us today. 1 mile on, 1 mile off, then 1 mile on. Then 1 mile easy to finish. 5 miles total. Let's go. Finished that first one, 6:13, which was only to be between 6:10, 6:15, so spot on. Now 1 mile easy, we go again, and then 1 mile easy is finished. Feeling good. That was, in a very weird way, relatively comfortable. I think I felt it as I got to the end of that final mile, which that was 6:15, just pulling up the stats now. I felt it a little bit more then. I had to push a little bit to kind of keep up to the pace that I was aiming for. So we started off with an 8:49 mile, that was our warm up. Then the first like set, because obviously it was alternate miles, was 6:13. Then we did an 8:06 as our kind of like easy mile, and then 6:15, and then 8:06 again, actually, kind of bob on. The average pace 7:31. I think where I'm, you know, I'm in an R-ing on that one is like, are those, that 8:06 miles, are they easy miles? They felt easy, like I'm doing the breath test as I can, but that is a little bit quicker than what I would just go out for like an easy run, if that makes sense. But I don't know if that's because my legs have been used to being turning over quicker, that then that speed feels easier. I'm not too sure. Either way, I was on my lunch break, so now it's back to work. Won't even have a shower just yet, absolutely minging, I know, but I'll do that once we finish off the day. For now, just for time, got like a post-protein carb drink thing, recovery, I don't know, from Bulk. They do the job. Again, when you're short on time, that's what it is. Today's run consisted of us doing some long hill steady reps. So we were looking for a hill that would give us approximately 5 minutes of climbing. So we'd start off with 1 mile easy, just to warm up and get ourselves ready, and then head into the rep. So we managed to get in our first rep 0.52 of a mile done in that 5 minutes. That pace on that was 9:31 a mile with a gap pace of 6:49. That was pushing it a little bit too much for me. I wanted to pull back ever so slightly. I wanted to try and keep the heart rate at about 170. So obviously we dropped back down, nice and simple, and then went back up. Did obviously that 5 minutes of climbing again. 9:59 there, so about 30 seconds slower. 7:03 on the gap, and that was exactly where I wanted to be. We ran back down and then did that for one more time, where we went and did 9:48 a mile, 6:59 gap pace on that. It was a really fun workout in the hills. The total elevation was 1,014 feet in that 5 miles. So just have, yeah, a really, really good run. Again, it's just a nice and quick and efficient way for us to get some miles in and get some elevation in, and then get cracking with the day. This was done first thing in the morning. I should probably get up a little bit earlier, basically, to allow me to get some fuel in, go to the loo, do all that sort of stuff. Because let's just say by the end of the run, I was very much ready to get home.
We're on to our 16-mile long run. We woke up yesterday feeling not great, to be honest. Just like a little bit on my throat, you know, sore throat. And then I was feeling like a bit achy and headache, and you know when you're just not quite there, but it's not on my chest. So I've made the decision to still come out and get it done. I mean, I'm feeling fine for it, you know, a little bit sniffly in the nose, but that's the joys of just, as we get to this time of the year, little one at nursery just brings back everything. But let's talk about our nutrition for today. And first up, gels. Now obviously with me being a dad and a husband and that second child on the way, finances are a little bit more tight. So I found a video, which I'll put on the screen now and a link to, about making your own gels. 54p for a 90 gram gel, which is a considerable amount cheaper. So that's what we're testing out on today's run. Got it in this little 150ml soft flask. I've just used blackcurrant for the flavouring, and maltodextrin, fructose and pectin, and hot water is all the ingredients are. Nothing too complex, and it tastes quite alright. It tastes like a blackcurrant slush puppy, a warm one, which that's a bit weird. But as a whole, so far, pretty good. We'll see how the stomach handles it, and carry on with this run. I will say it definitely is too thick at the minute, so I'm going to try a different ratio to give it a bit more water type feel, especially because I've gone for a different flask than what he recommends. Trying to get it through the valve, the bite valve, is a little bit more difficult. And then to go with that, I've got one bottle of carb drink, it's 23 grams of carbs, one water, and then I've also got like a cereal bar basically. I think in total, so it's 90 grams in the gel, 23 in this. I don't actually know what's in the let's find out, shall we? I would tell you, but it's not on the packet. It's one of the multi-box ones, so they put it on the box, don't they? I reckon that's gonna have 20 grams in, so we're probably looking at about 130 grams of carbs for this 16-mile run. I would like it to be more, but we'll lean towards that later on. I think I'm happy with it for now, only because I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. I've definitely come out today with the intention of taking it slow, taking it steady, you know, so less carbs needed, I'd say. So in terms of how do I fit this run in with the wife and the little one, I tend to get up with our son, you know, first thing in the morning, give the missus a bit of a lie-in, all that jazz. When these long runs were shorter, I used to just do them in his nap, because he used to nap for 2 hours and that'd be fine. Now they're getting longer and I'm focusing on elevation, they obviously take longer to do. So I had the little one, you know, for a few hours, breakfast, all that jazz. Then the missus takes over and yeah, sorts his lunch out. I come out and she does his nap, and then obviously I'll be back in time for us to go and see some family, which at the minute that works, and I'm very grateful to my wife to be able to do that. When obviously the newborn comes along, that's not going to be possible. The only time I'll be able to go out would be when our oldest son is napping, and that's like an hour and a half now, and I wouldn't be able to come to where I am today, and I wouldn't be able to do as long, obviously. So I think what we'll probably do then is a lot of doubles. I'll maybe get up early in the morning, you know, go and do, you know, an hour and a half, like 5 AM or something before he wakes up, have him, he gets up, and then go out again
when he naps. Either way, we're gonna have to make it work. You know, I don't expect every weekend to be perfect, but it's obviously the joys of it.
Run done then, and we clocked in at the 16 miles that we wanted. 1,952 feet of elevation. Took us 2 hours and 41 minutes and 27 seconds. I thought I'd just recap on kind of how the week went as a whole. Other than getting ill near the back end of the week, which I'm recording this obviously a few days after, and I'm now a little bit more ill. Overall, good. The weekly mileage that we had, apologies, just looking at my phone, obviously just to grab it, was 35.28 miles for the week. Total time of 5 hours and 36, and then 4,364 feet of elevation. That is our most amount of elevation in a week that I've ever done. That's about 1,200 feet shy of what North Downs Way 50 will be. So it's good to kind of, you know, creep up towards that. Obviously, I think as we go through the next, 30 odd weeks, we'll get to that sort of minimum 5,300. What that doesn't include though is on Tuesday, I did 30-minute Stairmaster, and that's about 1,500 feet of elevation in there. So that's obviously something that, I can't track in Strava, but definitely nice. Obviously, we hit the gym, we did what we needed to do there. So 2 gym sessions, the Stairmaster, and then obviously the 5 runs in total. So if it interests you and you kind of want to know a little bit more about my running journey, which we've got into this year, you can click a video up here and that will take you over to our Manchester Marathon where we ran our first sub 4. Just watching, guys.